You're a poopy head.
Mediocrity is now starting to hit Crash Bandicoot super hard. Wrath of Cortex turned out to be crap, and nobody was sure of what to do next.
Then Universal decides to give both Crash and Spyro to Vicarious Visions, who created a new Crash Bandicoot trilogy on the Game Boy Advance.
Starting with the Huge Adventure, Crash Bandicoot officially debuted on the Game Boy Advance in 2002, shortly after the release of Wrath of Cortex. All three games were developed by Vicarious Visions, who are now known for developing the Insane Trilogy. The story is that Uka Uka is once again getting sick and tired of Cortex failing, but Cortex insists that this plan will work. He creates a super weapon capable of shrinking the Earth down to the size of a golf ball. Hold on. If he did that, and the Earth kept its density and gravity, does that mean Cortex created a black hole?
Why am I even nitpicking? It's goddamn Crash Bandicoot on the Game Boy. When was anything ever logical in the original games?
Fun fact, this game is called XS in PAL regions, the XS of course being an acronym for extra small.
Don't even think about writing down the comment that I know you're going to write down. Just stop. I'm gonna move on now.
Why, you might ask? Well, 1, Cortex fucking shrunk the planet, and 2, you only get 20 crystals this time. The levels are pretty much just 2D variations of Crash 2 or 3 levels. I will say though, that these levels where you shoot down a blimp are pretty damn cool. But other than that, that's about all the fun I had. The bosses are Dingodile, Engine, Tiny, and Cortex. The music in this game is kinda forgettable. It's just remixed MIDI files of either Crash 2 or 3 music. Also, why am I hearing Dingodile's theme while I'm fighting Tiny? That makes no fucking sense. Anyway, in the end, after you are somehow able to nab all the crystals, gems, and time relics, like Crash 3, all of the villains fuse together due to a malfunction. This sets up a side-scrolling chase scene. I don't understand why they wanted and or needed this to be a thing. Cortex and his cronies leave, but they'll be back. Eventually. The controls are pretty mixed. It depends on where you are in the level. For example, my slide jump works in the jungle levels, but trying the exact same thing on ice is way different, let me tell you. My experience with this game can be described with one simple word. Fuck. Fuck!
Fuck!
After defeating each boss, you get a new ability. They are all from Crash 3, and you have to unlock them again. These include the Super Body Slam, the Double Jump, the Death Tornado Spin, and the Running Shoes.
Obviously, my least favorite is still the Super Body Slam. Well, at least it's not gimmicky. Wrath of Cortex, I'm looking right at you.
Overall, this game is just a downgraded version of Crash 2 and 3 on the Game Boy. I didn't get any joy or relief from playing this game. If you're looking for a Crash GBA game, then make sure you skip this game and go for its sequel. I give Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure 4 out of 10. Honestly, whatever they flawed in this game got sort of fixed in the next installment, exactly 1 year after the release of The Huge Adventure. This is Crash Bandicoot 2 Entranced. Don't be confused, people, this is not the real Crash 2. This is something completely different. Entranced was released in 2003, before Crash Nitro Kart. Vicarious Visions finally decided to get creative. The story is that Uka Uka has gotten rid of Cortex and his gang. There is no Tiny, Engine, Dingodile, or Cortex. Instead, Uka Uka hires Entropy to be the main villain. Entropy kidnaps the Bandicoots with his warp vortex. While he's trying to grab Crash, Aku Aku helps him out of the portal, causing the portal to malfunction, and Entropy gets Fake Crash without even realizing. This is actually pretty cool how Fake Crash now plays a role in the main story. Gameplay-wise, you go through 5 levels in 4 worlds collecting crystals and gems, and this is obvious at this point. There's a new collectible known as Gem Shards, and we'll get to that later. In this game, there are 5 bosses: Evil Crunch, Evil Coco, Fake Crash, Entrance, and Entropy. Entrance serves as the any % final boss. Entropy is the true final boss. How do you get to him? You collect all the gem shards to put the 3 gems back together because of what happened at the end of the Huge Adventure.
You know the best part about this? In order to get to Entropy, you only need to get all the gem shards, which means the relics are not a requirement. Thank fucking fuck! They're still there, but only as a completionist bonus. What they should have been in the first place.
But is it worth beating the 3 levels before Entropy? No, because his boss fight is fucking shit. It's just a 2D version of his warped boss fight, except you have to kill him 3 times without dying. In the end, the Bandicoots take a photo with Entropy's head. Damn, that's sick.
As far as controls are concerned, they're pretty much the same as they were in Huge Adventure, so it still has an unreliable slide jump.
The good thing though is that Crash starts the game with the double jump and super body slam. Abilities make their return as well. After beating each boss with the exception of Entropy, you are rewarded with a new ability. While the Death Tornado Spin and Running Shoes need to be unlocked again, you also get 2 brand new abilities, a Super Slide and a Super High Jump. Although, the only time I used these was when the game painstakingly wanted me to. The music in this game is a little better. There are still remixes of old music, but there are some original pieces as well. My two favorites would be Lagoony Tunes and Run from the Sun. Now, with how I've been talking about this game, you would think that I like it.
Well, honestly, I don't. It's definitely a good game on the GBA, but only when compared to the other 2 choices. And that's why I give Crash Bandicoot 2 Entranced 5 out of 10. As a standalone platformer, it doesn't really hold up. The game is good compared to its predecessor, and it's 10 times better than our next game, Crash Bandicoot Purple, Ripto's Rampage.
Oh dear God, have mercy on my soul. The story this time is that Cortex and Ripto join forces to create an army of mutated Riptocs. They disguise them as Crash and Spyro to trick them into fighting each other. Okay, this honestly isn't too bad of a start. The intro definitely gets you ready for an epic Crash and Spyro crossover, finally realized. Then we start playing the game. And it's a minigame collection. Fan-fucking-tastic. These are just the most boring and most tedious minigames I've ever played in my life. You can't unlock any abilities. The crystals and gems return, and cards can now be collected. These exist in both games. You get these either by finding them, playing minigames, or buy them from moneybags with Wumpa Fruit. Can't have Spyro without this asshole, now can we? Oh yeah, the Wumpa Fruit you collect now serves as the game's currency, meaning there are no lives. Well, there shouldn't be in a minigame collection. The bosses are Spyro, Tiny, Nina, Cortex, and Ripto. You want to know the worst part about this game?
There is a final boss, Cortex and Ripto combined. In these 2 games, you can use a link cable to exchange trading cards with a friend. In order to access the true final boss of this game, you need to have every single trading card from both Crash Purple and Spyro Orange. You have got to be fucking kidding me!
There is no way in hell that I can pull this off. The end isn't even worth beating the final boss for, so at the end of the day, I give Crash Bandicoot Purple 3 out of 10. After I defeated Spyro, that was as far as I got before I wanted Spyro to blow his new SoundCloud track all over my face. Speaking of Spyro, just for kicks, let's check out his half of the game, Spyro Orange Cortex Conspiracy. 2 out of 10, it's the Dark Souls of party games.
What the fuck was that? I have a question for you. Do you remember 10 Pin Alley on PS1?
It's definitely a rare gem in the PlayStation realm. 10 Pin Alley was released on November 30th, 1996, just 3 months after Crash Bandicoot. The game was released on the PlayStation, PC, and Sega Saturn. It was published by ASC Games and developed by Adrenaline Entertainment. Wow, I never would have guessed. So this is the title screen. Lovely. Okay, enough of this crap. I want a bowl! So the way you set up the game is to press New Game. Here you get the main menu, complete with a chunk of settings. Do you want to bowl for fun, split into teams, or compete for money in tournaments? Where do you want to bowl? Do you want to be lazy and only get 9 pins for a strike? This game's got you covered. You've got a heap of customization. There's 12 bowlers, different ball weights, different types of balls.
Wow, that's weird to say.
Skill levels, name input, that sort of thing. Now that we've got our bowler, it's time to bowl. I'm gonna bowl a regular game at Conga Bowl because... So you're probably gonna ask yourself, how do I bowl with a controller? I'm used to actually throwing a ball down the lane. Well, This arrow shows where your bowler is going to throw the ball. Once you press the X button, you set up your bowler's position. Then you press X again, and now you got a lot of shit in front of you. This top arrow shows how fast the ball will be thrown, and this bottom arrow shows how hard you throw it. This side arrow depicts how much of a hook you give to it. You raise it with up and lower it with down. I know it's a lot to take in, especially if you're playing for the very first time and are panicking because there's too much on the screen! What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? But once you get the hang of it, it'll be like actual bowling. But not really, because you're sitting down and pressing one button for about 10 minutes. So I bowled a 132, and I feel like I'm ready for the amateur tournament. Okay, maybe not. Well, there's this option called Hall of Fame. This is a 2-minute video showcasing the National Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum located in the heart of Missouri, St. Louis. It's really cool and I want to visit it one of these days. If it's still open, of course.
There's not really anything else to do in this game, as it's just simply bowling. I almost don't understand where the high scores come from.
Maybe it's because people are blinded by bowling. I mean, looking at this box, you would want this game right away too, but honestly, I just don't understand it. It's not even the greatest of bowling games. It's good and functional, but not the greatest. Well, I guess it was good enough to get an Animaniacs spin-off and a sequel on the GBA and Wii.
I played this game once, and I never touched it ever again.
Overall, I like this game. It's great for those who want to get introduced to bowling, as well as those who wondered what bowling would be like on the PlayStation. I give 10 Pin Alley 6 out of 10. Wait, what's that? You're saying I gave it an 8 the last time I talked about this game? Yeah, that video is fake news.
And I'm bored. I'm gonna go out and actually bowl with actual people.
We play! Do you?
I don't know. That's such a complicated question. I mean, do I play?
Yeah, I do. We Play, also known as Your First Step to Wii in Japan, was released as a launch title for the Wii everywhere but the US. Us Americans didn't get the game until February of 2007. Gee, thanks. There's a total of 9 games on it, all of which integrate motion controls.
Great!
First up, Shooting Range. It's kinda like Duck Hunt, except there's a whole lot more going on. Up next we have Find Me. This game gives you certain challenges at certain environments. Most of them are finding 2 of the same, or looking for the odd one out. I asked for this. Next is Table Tennis. You rally back and forth with your opponent. It's worth noting each minigame has medals you can win depending on how good you are. Up next, Pose Me. You match the poses with the bubbles and not let them touch the bottom, or else you fail. Number 5, Laser Hockey. It's air hockey, but with neon colors. And the motion controls are gross. Number 6, Billiards. What else do I need to say about this? It's billiards. Yay! Number 7, Fishing. Catch fish, get points, catch dry bones, lose points. Next! Number 8, Charge! Okay, this is when the game picks back up. You ride a cow to the finish while steering to knock out the scarecrows to score points. In the end, you get a time bonus depending on how quick you were. It's a lot of fun, actually.
In fact, it's the most amount of fun I've had in this game.
Final game. Tanks! It's like the Atari game, except motion controls, and you use the nunchuck to move. You have 3 lives to complete each level. Every 5 or so levels, you earn an extra life. Each level gets more and more intense to the point where... yeah, I'm done here.
So that was the collection of games we got to play on Wii Play. It gained enough profit to get a sequel, but I'm not playing that anytime soon.
Honestly, I can't find myself returning to this game like the back of the box otherwise claims. In the end, it's still fun. I give Wii Play 5 out of 10. It's honestly not worth it unless you have Wii Motion Plus.
I want to like this game, but I just can't. Yeah, it's a great test build, but you gotta keep in mind, people paid the full retail price for just 9 minigames. And you thought ports were tedious.
Well, it's been more than a week, and I really am sorry about that. This was planned to be a much bigger project involving certain scenes to take place at certain places. Quite frankly, this review would not be done before the release of Nitro-Fueled if that idea stayed put.
So, to make up for lost time, I figured now is finally the time I take a look at the game that shaped Crash Bandicoot forever. The game in question is Crash Twinsanity.
It's been a long time coming for this game. Crash Twinsanity was released on September 24th, 2004 for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. It re-released in 2007 on the PS2 alongside Nitro Kart and Tag Team Racing in the Crash Bandicoot Action Pack. After looking at the back of my manual and going, "Wait, where's Spyro?" I found that I have the Action Pack version of this game. Does that change anything? No.
I like this cover, and the back of the box shows everything in perfect color. On the side we get to see the cool moves in the game, like Twin Slam, Humiliscate, Spank, Twin Throw, Roller Brawl, and my favorite, Censored. Oh my!
Anyway, let's see what our story is this time. Cortex and Uka Uka froze over from the Wrath of Cortex ending, the 106% one. Cortex ends up stunning Coco and stealing her clothes to trick Crash and lure him into a trap. Yes, Cortex literally dresses in drag. This game takes a new approach to Crash Bandicoot. Instead of linear point A to point B levels, we get open worlds. Nice. We are given a huge one right off the bat to get used to the controls, and I gotta say, Crash's controls are, believe it or not, really tight. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you have it down pat, it feels great. It's probably worth mentioning that Traveler's Tales came back to develop this game. Or did they? The division that developed Twinsanity was known as Oxford Studio. This is not the same Traveler's Tales that developed Wrath of Cortex, 3D Blast, or Sonic R. You know what, this game wasn't even that bad. So for all intensive purposes, we'll just refer to them as Oxford. So along the way to completing the tutorial, we find gems scattered about. This time, the gems don't serve anything at all. That's odd. However, they are completionist bonuses, which when it comes to Crash Bandicoot, I'm okay with. Now, the problem with this tutorial is that while it does tell you how to play the game, it can't be skipped. However, this does give us a chance at hearing some of the funny dialogue this game offers. There are tons of funny jokes, perfectly timed fourth wall breaks, a Wrath of Cortex roast, and even a gag about the game's rough development cycle.
Come now, as we explore a new dimension! It should have been 2 new dimensions, but we ran out of time.
This is mainly due to one of the co-writers of the game having written a majority of Invader Zim's episodes, which is a good thing. Obs. Anyway, we get to the end, and Cortex reveals that it was him the whole time. And we get our first boss, which is Cortex. Hit him 3 times, and that's the game. Thanks for watching. No, I'm kidding. Cortex then brings out Engine, who is piloting Mecha Bandicoot. You just hit him 3 times, and the boss is beat. Crash and Cortex fall into the cave, where Cortex is now fed up with Crash always winning. So he does the next best thing and starts beating the shit out of him. This sets up another level. Here, Crash and Cortex have to hit these giant crystals in order to progress. Along the way, Cortex discovers a power crystal, which then introduces our new enemy, the Ant Army. Okay. After fending them off, we get introduced to a new control scheme, grabbing Cortex and using him as our sledgehammer. After they escape, we are greeted by the real new enemies known as the Evil Twins. Their names are Victor and Moritz. They're two mutated parrots from the 10th dimension bent on the destruction of Earth. A lot of Crash Bandicoot villains tried this, didn't they?
After a few more levels, and some glitches, we get to the second boss of the game, a giant totem god known as Tiki-Man. This boss fight has such an amazing piece of music to accompany it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the music.
The music was composed entirely by an a cappella group known as Spiral Mouth. A cappella means you mimic instrument noises with your voice. This soundtrack was done with no instruments whatsoever. It was just Spiral Mouth. I fucking love this! When people ask which Crash game has a great and unique soundtrack, I always tell them Twinsanity. Every song fits perfectly with their levels, covers were done for some of the chase levels, and you cannot go wrong with Slip Slide Ice-Capades. And if you're somebody out there who isn't a big fan, I will say,
some songs are just insanely annoying. What's even more annoying are the fact that some songs just start out awesome and then get annoying. The soundtrack as a whole is pretty forgettable.
That's fine.
So after the boss, Cortex takes us to his iceberg lair, where we fight Uka Uka, our third boss. Then we find out we don't have enough power crystals to warp to the 10th dimension. This sets up Slip Slide Ice-Capades, with Crash using Cortex as a snowboard. This of course brings up my favorite part of the level. They crash again, then head off to confront Engine, in a very boring boss battle. How does Engine go from this to this? Anyway, another chase level, fuck this one by the way. Then Engine falls on a pile of TNTs that blow Crash off the island and onto a single iceberg where he confronts Entropy and Embryo. Meanwhile, we return to the lab, only to have Coco ruin everything. Great. Now we have to go find Cortex's niece, Nina, at the Academy of Evil. We then head into the boiler room where Cortex gets stuck in a pipe.
How could things get any worse?
Now we get some cool puzzles to solve. Then we face Dingodile, who is probably the best boss fight in the game. Then we actually go inside the school, and we get to play as Cortex. He's kinda meh, really. You just run around and shoot aimlessly. That sounds like another game people like, but I can't remember what the name of it was. Cortex finds Nina, and then we get to play as her. She controls pretty well, except for the fact that she can't double jump. That's alright, because the level was designed to compensate. We meet back up with Cortex, who confronts Madame Amberly, the head honcho of the Academy. I swear this game was tested.
It's at this point in the game where Cortex suddenly remembers who Victor and Moritz used to be. They were his two pet birds.
They were the first of Cortex's many tests with Brio's Evolvo Ray. And yes, I said Brio because
I was in the first game!
it sent them to the 10th dimension, where we are headed right now. Welcome to Twinsanity Island, home to one of the most difficult and stupidest puzzles I have ever seen / attempted. Trying to roll the ball through all that is damn near impossible. I've wasted so much time here just trying to get this gem. I barely got all the gems on Rockslide Rumble. What makes you think that I can...
Yeah, Dad? I think I just shit my...
Well anyway, after doing that again, we go inside the volcano base, where the evil twins are waiting for us. The final boss fight begins. First up is Nina, who shuts down the generators. Cortex is next. He shoots the plasma blaster and machine gun. Good God, this game is rated E, right? And finally we have... Mecha Bandicoot? How did Crash do this exactly? Who cares? We beat the evil twins, they get eaten by evil Crash, Cortex accidentally warps himself into Crash's brain, and the game is over. Wow, what a ride.
This game also features gems, glitches, 16 levels, and plenty of hilarity. Here's a little bonus for you guys. I discovered this glitch about a few years back, and I'm gonna show it to you.
So if you go over here, jump onto the structure of the lab, then fall onto the bottom part and get as close to the ground as you can. Then simply jump off, and you're back on the surface. There's Wampa Fruit down here for a reason, you know.
Yeah, Twinsanity is not even close to being a finished product, but does the lack of game testing and the countless amount of glitches that are still being discovered to this day hinder the overall experience? No. You can play the game and have next to nothing happen. When you go back and try out some glitches, you can do most of them without even trying. If anything, it adds replay value to an otherwise very short game.
As far as the voices go, everybody has their shining moment, except for Coco. Cortex is now voiced by Lex Lane. Crash has gone completely silent, which, in the future, would have been the better option. Alex Fernandez comes in to fill the role of Uka Uka, and this would be the last game Michael Ensign voices Entropy and Mel Winkler voices Aku Aku. They would be replaced with Corey Burton and Greg Eagles, respectively. Susan Silo provides the voice of Madame Amberly, and this one noise that comes out of Nina's mouth at the end. Susan eventually makes Nina talk in later games. For 2004, this game is actually not bad in terms of graphics. Obviously one of the more colorful PS2 games I played. It's no Half-Life 2 or Up Your Arsenal, but it's still sexy. Of course, these beautiful graphics can cause the Xbox version to slow down incredibly. Now, I don't know if this is from emulating the game on my 360, but I found that certain levels are barely playable, like Rooftop Rampage. Other than that, this game is good. The graphics look nice, the character models are clean, the jokes are funny, the music is one of a kind, the FMVs look great, the 100% ending is funny on NTSC, and above all, the controls are precise, and there's no noticeable input lag. I give Crash Twinsanity 6 out of 10.
Thank you guys for being so patient with the review. I know I made you wait quite a while, but that was only because I wanted to make sure that the review was watchable. As of now, I once again don't know what my next review will be.
Yeah, I lied. No Wii Sports. Crash Twinsanity showed that the franchise was still alive. It gave fans something they haven't had since the days of CTR. Hope. Maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel. That is, until Vivendi Universal decides to hand the series over to Sierra Entertainment. They gave Radical Entertainment the task of developing the next Crash Bandicoot game. These guys are known for their popular Simpsons games, Hit and Run and Road Rage.
So Radical decides to combine their powers from both games to create Crash Tag Team Racing, a game that clashed platforming and racing together. And the end result? Simply put, this game is shit.
Crash Tag Team Racing was released on October 19, 2005 for the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and for the first time in the series, the PlayStation Portable. It's a platformer racing crossover, which sounds awesome, but this game made it not awesome. The racing in this game is actually the only fun part about it. There are a lot of problems I have with this game, so the problem counter is back once again. Starting with problem number 1. The intro is not an FMV. It's just a generic gameplay montage. In races, you can compete for power crystals and Wampa tokens. Wampa tokens can be used to purchase items, skins, power crystals, and more. The racing is different from that of CTR and Nitro Kart. Instead of go-karts, the characters now drive an actual car, so you can't hop. Drifting is also different. To drift, you tap the brake button before entering a turn. Doing so will start drifting your car into the turn. Drifting without hitting a wall causes this meter on the bottom to fill up. This is your boost meter. When it's full, you can push circle to get a huge boost for a short time. However, this is not the ideal way to race. The real way to win the race is to clash with an opponent. By pressing triangle near an opponent, you'll clash together, turning the two cars into one. The game then turns into Double Dash, only with weapons. Yeah, actual weapons.
That kill people.
Anyway, while you're doing this, you're racking up some huge points and at the same time making the races incredibly easy, even on the hardest difficulty. Although, it's still a lot of fun. Some weapons like Cortex's are extremely useless, while others like Engine's rockets are completely broken. Seriously, you only need to launch 1 or 2 of these in order to kill someone. But the racing is still a ton of fun, and I really enjoy going in and shooting shit. Now, with how I've been building up the racing part of the game, you would think that I like it. But then problem number 2 comes in. You can't do any racing before entering the park.
In a game called Crash Tag Team Racing, I want to just jump into the first couple of tracks to get a feel of the game. But nope, I have to go through the fucking park first. This is where the positives end. In this mode, we get introduced to the main story, which, like all other Crash games before it, is nothing of importance. But I'm gonna tell you anyways, because fuck you.
The story is, a theme park is holding a racing competition to acquire the power gems that were stolen from the park's generators. We are introduced to 3 new characters who get the Rillaroo treatment. This is the park owner, Ebenezer Von Clutch, accompanied by his teammate Pasadena Opossum and his mascot Willy Wumpacheeks. Whoever recovers all of the power gems will win the rights to the park. Conveniently, Crash and all his friends and foes, except for Tiny and Dingodile apparently, crash into the main entrance, accepting Von Clutch's challenge and sending off to collect the gems. Problem number 3. The game gives you the first gem right away. I would have at least liked to do something to earn it other than the opening tutorial. This introduces the platforming portion of the game. Problem number 4? The platforming is shit. It's not just apparent with the controls. The game as a whole just looks awful. Some of the models in this game look horrendous. For fuck's sake, Crash doesn't even have individual fingers. You could tell this game was rushed. Throughout exploring the park, we can also get and complete side missions to unlock the other 7 characters. The roster includes Crash, Cortex, Coco, Crunch, Nina, Pasadena, Engine, and Von Clutch. That means there's only 8 playable characters. That is problem number 5. CTR had 15 racers, and Nitro Kart had 16. 1999, 2003, 2005. Unfucking acceptable.
So now we enter the first of 5 worlds in the park. This is when we get introduced to the game's stock enemies. Ninja Penguins. Fucking Ninja Penguins. Why?
Get used to going around on foot because you'll be doing this for the majority of the game. That is called Tag Team Racing, by the way. There are 5 worlds: Mystery Island, Happily Ever Faster, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Toontown, and Astroland. Each world has 3 tracks, all of which are named so poorly, such as Deep Sea Driving. That was literally taken from the name of the far superior track from Nitro Kart, as well as every single space track involving Uranus. Newsflash, there is nothing funny about Uranus. None of the platforming is fun, nor is it challenging. Collecting enough power crystals allows us to access the jump pad, used to recover the stolen power gem. Do this 4 more times and the game is over. Towards the end, we find out that Willy Wumpacheeks is responsible for stealing the gems, and fucks off to Astroland with Von Clutch's black power gem, which he needs or he will die. Problem number 6. There is no consistency with the cutscenes. It shows Von Clutch dying before we even enter the last world, yet he still shows up in the races unscathed. Aren't you supposed to be dead? Anyway, we catch Willy and deactivate his escape pod before he can flee. Cortex and company show up, Crash throws a chicken,
I hate chicken.
and the Bandicoots win the park ownership, which they give right back to Von Clutch. And that's the story. Stepping outside of all that, everything else is just stupid. In the park, we can discover minigames, which are the worst, except for bowling. I like that one. Also, the characters in this game are fucking annoying. Radical fucked everybody up in this aspect. Engine is now gray and voiced by Nolan North. Coco is a skank. Crash is absolutely fucking obnoxious. And Crunch is a really bad parody of Mr. T. The only tolerable character in this game is Cortex because Lex Lang didn't make him fucking annoying like everybody else. Also, I need to correct myself from what I said in Twinsanity. Nina gets a new voice, Amy Gross. In addition to the minigames, we also get different racing challenges, 2 battle arenas, and 2 stunt arenas. There are 4 racing modes. Crashinator has you smashing objects, Fast Lap is a 1-lap time trial to try and get the best time, Run and Gun involves shooting down objects, and my favorite, Rolling Thunder, involves getting as many KOs as you can within 1 lap. Problem number 7, all of these are super easy! I mean, Christ, they make Papu's fight from Crash 1 look challenging. Speaking of boss fights, there are none. That's problem number 8. You don't race Willy before defeating him. What a fucking waste. The battle mode, though, is fucking awesome. Oddboy Glitch and I had tons of fun playing the battle mode over on his channel. Then there's the stunt arenas, where you drive off a hill and rotate the sticks to make your characters roll. That's it. What's worse is that you can get the high score within a minute, leaving all that time to just sit around and wait. I can flip to daytime television and watch anything, and find more entertainment.
Then we have the soundtrack. Oh, good fucking lord, the stupid soundtrack.
The soundtrack was done by 2 composers. One of them was Mark Barrel. I gotta say, Barrel did a really good job with his music. He also goes on to make the entirety of the music for Titans and Mutant. I think Mark Barrel's music is good. It's not something to write home about, but it's still good. Now, with how I've been building up the soundtrack, you would think that I like it. But the other composer's fucking Spyro Mouth. Kill me, please. Look, I like acapella, and I like Spyro Mouth's work on Twinsanity. But they are so fucking annoying in Tag Team Racing. It's like they stopped giving a fuck and just made random noises. Most of the soundtrack, especially Toontown's theme, are just unbearable. Hey, that's a pun. Seriously, I would rather listen to Metallica's Saint Anger on loop. It's that bad.
And then we get to the humor that this game offers. Where Twinsanity gave us this,
I've ruined the lives of so many. I can't be expected to remember them all.
Tag Team Racing gave us this. How is this funny?
Sure, this game is aimed towards kids, but come on, what fucking 5-year-old is gonna find fart sounds funny? Actually, all of them.
You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round.
Speaking of which, you can do that in the loading screens. Yeah, by pressing X and triangle, you can make burp and fart sounds. You can also adjust the pitch by holding up or down on the analog sticks.
Overall, this game is just a sad waste of money that served no purpose other than selling because of the characters.
I'm almost certain that this was another Radical game until someone in the room said, "Hey, let's put Crash Bandicoot in our game. Kids will want it for sure." While the racing and multiplayer are definitely fun, it gets incredibly overshadowed by all the other pathetic shit in this game. The platforming is terrible, the characters are obnoxious, the graphics make Wrath of Cortex look fantastic, the music is mediocre, there is little to no replay value, the story is short, and the game as a whole is a major step backwards from Twinsanity. And to think, I used to like this game for the longest time, but now, I just can't. I give Crash Tag Team Racing 2 out of 10. And, in all honesty, I'm gonna bump up Wrath of Cortex to 3 out of 10. Yes, both of these games are bad in their own way, but I find Wrath of Cortex to be a little more tolerable than Tag Team Racing. As of right now, no. I have no plans to review the Titan series anytime soon. Quite frankly, I wanted to get this game out of the way before Nitro-Fueled came around. Maybe I'll check them out before the end of 2019, but I can't make any promises. So, for now, this is the end of the Crash reviews on my channel.
It's Nitro-Fueled time!
June 21st, 2019. The day our favorite Furke marsupial Cash Banuka released this turbocharged extravaganza to the world of PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. This is the game that defined my childhood, and it feels so good to say that this remaster is really faithful to the original. The characters, the adventure mode, the time trials, the visuals, the controls, just fucking everything. It blows my mind.
Believe it or not, The first time I ever played CTR was back in 2013. I completely skipped this game as a kid in favor of Crash Nitro Kart.
Just disregard me already.
Anyway, I now prefer CTR to CNK any day of the week, and when I saw that trailer for Nitro-Fueled at the Game Awards, I was admittedly a bit worried. Not only was it yet another remake on top of the Insane trilogy, it was also being developed by a team I only knew for shitty ports and remasters.
And so, Toasty and I are going to give you our initial thoughts on this game. Now we're going to dive into this game assuming you already know the basics of CTR and its unique speed mechanics. If not, then keep an eye out for a future video that I'm working on that'll go a little more in-depth.
So let's just dive right in, shall we?
Yes, indeed. Let's pop this into the PS4.
One thing to note right away is the opening Beanox logo. Man, they really went all in with this. This intro is a great precursor to what is in store for us, just like the original. Stepping inside, we have a wide variety of options to choose from. There's the good old-fashioned adventure mode, a time trial mode, local arcade, battle mode, relic races, CTR challenges, and crystal challenges. But the main attraction is acquiring PlayStation Plus and playing online with friends locally or with other people around the world.
The online is perfectly fine now, but when the game first launched it was Super Smash Bros. Brawl levels of unplayable. But the servers are better now. I just wish the Wumpa coins weren't so online heavy.
Yeah, this game's currency, Wumpa coins, are much easier to collect online rather than offline, which is a real shame.
Well, now let's take this time to talk about this game's controls. Now, I speedrun the original CTR, so if these controls remain faithful, this'll be all I need to immediately fall in love with it. Go ahead, ask.
Ask what?
Ask the question.
Do the controls remain faithful?
You bet your sweet ass they do. The controls are just as tight and fluent as I remember. In fact, I think Beanox made them a little loose. Enough though to not have any notable differences right off the bat. Holy hell, the amount of time put into the controls alone had to have been sleepless night after sleepless night. So give yourselves a pat on the back, Beanox, because these controls are great.
So now that we've talked about how the game feels, let's talk about how the game looks. It looks amazing!
This game is absolutely beautimous. Yes, that is a word. Spellcheck did not underline it in the script. The character models are ripped straight out of the Insane trilogy, and man do they look clean. The environments are pleasing and the animations are spot on. Of course, it's unfortunate that the game only runs at 30 FPS as a result of the gorgeousness.
Honestly, I don't care about the frame rate. The original was at 30, and that's what my brain is used to at this point. Moving on to the soundtrack, it is breathtaking. Now, there is an option to set the music to the ones from the originals, but quite frankly, with a soundtrack like this, why would you go back? The original music is just the downgraded MIDIs anyway. A missed opportunity to use the pre-console mixes if you ask me.
I absolutely love this soundtrack. Some of the tracks start with a little drum beat, for example, Crash Cove, which is kinda cute. And unlike the Insane trilogy, these tracks are way more faithful to the original versions.
Let me also state that there is a ton of customization. In the game, you can earn Wumpa coins, which can be used to redeem a whole bunch of goodies in the pit stop. No, these are not microtransactions. You actually have to play the game. This is a good thing. What isn't a good thing is the fact that you have to play online at a certain time in order to rack up a good chunk of coins. Otherwise, you'll be grinding. Forever.
This pit stop is absolutely rancid. I really don't like it. If I were the director at Beanox, I would make the pit stop similar to the Manco store in TF2, where there's several categories you can browse through in a search bar to find something specific. And for the coins, I'd make it 150 per easy difficulty win, 300 per medium difficulty win, and 500 for every hard win. And for online, 500 each win.
The HUD during the race is also nice and clean. Some really cool things about the HUD is that there are now 3 types of drift bars to choose from. There's the classic one, which is just the bar, the speedometer that shows your speed and height duration, and now there's the Nitro-Fueled bar, a bigger and more detailed drift bar that even gives you lines where you should tap the opposite drift button to get the best mini boost. Speaking of boosting, the reserve system is back, and dare I say, it's a lot easier to store your boosts.
However, similar to Nitro Kart, if you slightly hit a wall, you will lose all of your speed. But in this game, you can regain it very quickly.
Storing all the boosts will make your card go at ridiculous speeds. Something this guy is already too familiar with.
Oh yeah. You see that? That is normal speed for me.
Yes, we get it, you're good, you can stop loading now.
Every single track from the original CTR and CNK are in this game, fully rebuilt from the ground up. The PS4 version also comes with an exclusive track known as Retro Stadium, which is Turbo Track in its original PS1 glory. Except for these turbo pads. I don't remember them looking like that.
This might be a good time to bring up the bane of all PS4 owners of the game. There is a horrific bug in the time trial mode on PS4, where if you beat the Retro Stadium's ghosts, there's a 95% chance your save data will get corrupted and destroyed. Everything will be gone. Cards, skins, Wampa coins, adventure mode, characters, time trials, everything will be erased.
What the fu-
It's a good thing I don't have the PS4 version.
Well, even with my save backed up onto my online cloud, I lucked out and wasn't fazed by this. Let's see. What else can we talk about?
What about Uka Uka?
Oh yeah, I'll handle this. What the fuck happened to his voice? He sounds like Sonic trying to wax his face while he's shooting the movie. Why did Beanox not put the filters on Uka Uka's voice like BB did in Insane? It makes absolutely no fucking sense. Now he sounds like a fucking stoner who was caught 3 months prior to the events of this game. Okay, I'm done.
Damn, you really hate that voice.
You have no idea.
Anyway, in addition to all of the tracks from CNK, all of the characters, battle arenas, and carts are back from that game as well. Characters also get unique skins, which is really cool. They're not using these as separate character slots. Is this how you're supposed to handle skins, Nintendo? Local and online multiplayer is also a plus. However, the online lobbies still have some bugs, but Beanox is attending to those as we speak. I just wish people in my lobby would stop rage quitting. Seriously guys, just take the L.
You need to ease up, dude. They don't know how to achieve ultimate sacred fire like you do.
Good point. But some of them do know how to drift and boost while drifting, so at least they have that going for them.
Yeah, what you will soon realize when you pick this game up is that the learning curve is much bigger than that of Mario Kart. Where Mario Kart is just hope to God second place doesn't have a blue shell every half second, Crash Team Racing is more based on how well you can drift.
Yeah, a lot of people like to compare this game to Mario Kart, even though it plays nothing like it. It's just a matter of mastering the power sliding and defending yourself from the items you get from item crates. Yes, you can actually defend yourself from bullshit item RNG. Hallelujah!
One thing we do recommend to newcomers is to stay away from the hard mode. The CPUs are granted access to the entropy clock and the warp orb at their own leisure. This is actually great. It adds challenge. I find myself getting stumped a lot on this mode, especially in the adventure mode. This game is just absolutely fantastic. I almost can't believe how easy it is to store your boosts, and it makes the time trials all the better to perfect. In fact, sit tight for a second as we go visit an old friend. Yo, Sterling!
Oh hey JJ, what's up? I was just in the middle of doing my Let's Play for this game.
I just had a quick question for you. What are your thoughts on the game so far?
Oh, I love it. It is absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to play the Grand Prix and unlock a lot of more stuff.
Thanks, Sterling. Take it easy. Oh yeah, there's also the Grand Prix.
A Grand Prix is similar to an event pass in games like Rocket League, Paladins, or Fortnite. You complete challenges and get rewarded with stickers, characters, cards, or even skins. Like Your Crash is one of the skins. Beanox is listening to my prayers! Please, Beanox, give us Cortex and Drift.
Overall, this game holds up really well to the original that I have claimed for years to be my favorite game of all time. And of course, this game wasn't gonna beat it despite all the improvements and upgrades it got. This game, as of now, is not the definitive way to experience Crash Team Racing. It is, however, the definitive way to experience the Crash Nitro Kart tracks with godlike controls and clunky anti-gravity removed.
Going into this, I knew I was going to be blinded by nostalgia and almost gave this game a perfect score. However, due to the recent discovery of Thunderstruck, that opinion changed. Among other problems, I can't give this game the same score as the original. But it is worthy of a strong 8 out of 10. Thank you to Beanox for listening to the fans who helped shape the game into what it is today. Thank you to Vicarious Visions for helping Beanox, making sure that they didn't make the same mistake that you guys made back in 2003. And finally, thank you to somebody I never thought I'd be thanking, Activision. Thank you for not rushing the game's release and giving Beanox enough time to perfect it. And as for you, my friend, well, thanks for being here. Now get out.
Oh, okay. You wanna do this again sometime?
I'll give it a thought. Farewell, Toasty Man. It was a fun ride.
So, how does a Crash Bash remake sound? John?
I like Crash of the Titans.
Crash of the Titans was released on October 4th, 2007 for the PS2, Xbox 360, Wii, PSP, Nintendo DS, and Game Boy Advance? Okay. The handheld versions have a slightly altered version of the story, but it's more or less the same, only with Dingo Dial. The console versions were ported onto the PSP, so there's nothing new there. Now, a lot of people really hate this game. Most have gone as far as to say things like, Crash is a platformer, not a beat-em-up, and of course, this game ruined my childhood! And I will admit, when I was little, I didn't really spend that much time with this game. I remember renting it once and only playing it for about 20 minutes until I finally gave up. But after going back to it to record for the review, I really enjoyed it. I'm dead serious, Crash of the Titans was fun. It wasn't absolutely masterful, but it was fun. As many have gathered, Titans is a beat-em-up. It was a reboot for the series, something Crash really needed. The past couple of games have been mediocre at best, so I think it was a good thing Radical hit the reset button. The story sees Coco building a device capable of recycling butter. Suddenly, Cortex appears and he kidnaps Coco and Aku Aku, freezes Crunch, and leaves. Crash throws the device and hits Aku Aku's cage, causing him to fall. Crash reunites with Aku Aku, and they find and confront Cortex. Cortex plots to destroy Wumpa Island with a giant robot known as the Doominator. Eventually, Cortex fails and retreats, pissing Uka Uka off enough to want to replace him. So Uka Uka does replace Cortex with his niece, Nina. Nina takes control of the operation, forcing Coco to build the robot.
Meanwhile,
Crash and Aku confront Tiny, Engine, and Uka on their way to rescue Coco. They get inside the Doominator and confront Nina's Spider-Bot. Then Coco uses the purple thingy to disable the Doominator. The robot then crashes onto the island. Coco doesn't seem to care though, because so long as our house is fine, then fuck all the other inhabitants' well-beings. Then Crash yells an actual word at the end.
Now let's go home and eat pancakes! Pancakes!
Now, people will say that this is not Crash's first word, but keep in mind this is a reboot, so canonically, yes, it is. Anyway, now that the story's out of the way, let's talk about the rest of this game.
Now this game is completely different compared to everything else in the series. Instead of collecting crystals and gems and warp rooms, Crash is now going level to level with the mindset of saving his sister. That sounds very similar to another game in the series.
The designs in this game are a little funky. While the art direction was clear, the character redesign direction was not. Crash looks pretty cool. A lot of people don't like the tattoos, but I'm fine with them. Cortex, Engine, Aku Aku, Nina, and Crunch look pretty good too. Then we get Coco. She looks... in a word... demented. Uka Uka looks nothing like his original design, but it's still fine. Then there's Tiny. Yes, that thing is Tiny. Jess Harnell voices Crash, Debbie Derryberry plays Coco, Lex Lang returns for Cortex, and Nolan North reprises his role for Engine. We also get some new voices. Chris Williams voices both of the shitty parodies, Aku Aku is voiced by Greg Eagles, and Uka Uka is voiced by John DiMaggio. Titans has you going from level to level collecting mojo to upgrade Crash's health, slides, and spins. You can still collect Wumpa Fruit, but only occasionally to replenish your health. Oh, by the way, you punch and kick. Spinning needs to be unlocked.
Weird. That's like unlocking the spin dash in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Anyway, once you free Aku Aku, you can use him as a shield and a surfboard. Sound familiar? The whole game is beating up a bunch of baddies to open up the next area. Repeat until the end of the level. The NPCs actually have some funny dialogue between each other when you're a distance from them.
Bandicoot, a medium-sized marsupial omnivore from the order Paramelamorphlia. Obviously, yes, everyone knows that. Yeah. But what most people don't know is that Paramelamorphlia creatures are immune to mojo control.
The NPCs have various voice actors, the most notable being Tom Kenny, known for his role as Spyro the Dragon and SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, you would think that you just go around punching and kicking. Well, no.
This game combines beat 'em up with platforming, allowing for multiple genres to mesh together. Almost too often. However, Radical learned from their mistakes, and this game meshed the two really well.
In addition to the platforming, we also get the main attractions. These fantastic beasts are known as Titans. Get it? These fantastic beasts are known as Titans. Get it? You have to bash them a bit until they're stunned. Then you use Aku Aku to jack the Titan. And there are a lot of Titans in this game. Spikes, Snipes, Sludges, Ratsicles, Battlers, Scorporillas, Electrics, Magmadons, Gores, Shelliphants, Stenches, and Rhino Rollers. Some of them are completely useless, and some are overpowered, of course. My personal favorite is the Spike. I fucking love his design, and he makes funny sounds. In each episode, you also get a minigame to play. These involve jacking a certain Titan to detonate bombs, collecting free Jack masks, grabbing green mojo, and defeating a wave or two of enemies and Titans. Each Titan has a special attack that can be used with the push of a button. Unless you're playing the Wii version like I did. If you win the minigame, you get a voodoo doll that allows you to replay it without having to go back through the level. Speaking of voodoo dolls, those are the collectibles in this game. Each level has a red voodoo doll that unlocks concept art for that episode. Each episode has 3 objectives: Minion Master, Combo King, and Spybot Extermination. Minion Master involves killing a certain number of enemies, Combo King involves getting a certain hit combo without taking a hit, and then there's the task of finding the 3 Spybots in each level. These 3 goals determine what voodoo doll you will earn at the end. If you complete 1, you get bronze. If you beat 2, you get silver. And if you complete all 3, you get gold. There are a total of 20 episodes. Each episode title references pop culture in some way, shape, or form. Speaking of references, there is a lot of them. Certain lines that get said reference Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. At the beginning of episode 8, Crash reenacts everybody's favorite scene from Planet of the Apes. Episode 20, the final level, starts with girders set up like Donkey Kong. Who's sitting at the top? Why, the Scorporilla, of course. That's another thing I like about this game. It's actually funny. There are 5 bosses. The Yuctopus, Tiny... Engine, Uka Uka, and Nina Spiderbot. Uka Uka can fuck right off. One of my nunchucks is dead because of him. Good night, sweet prince. You served me well. Also, the fuck is up with Engine?
While the beat 'em up segments are really where the most fun occurs in this game, your Titans can't platform with you. Great. There goes that sludge that I had for about 30 seconds. Oh well.
The music in this game was entirely composed by Mark Barrel. Thank God we're no longer dealing with... I strongly suggest you go give it a listen. Unfortunately, I can't play any of it because it's wearing... protection. Copyright protection, to be more precise. Some of the humor in this game is funny, but most of it was just dumb shit only kids would laugh at. However, John DiMaggio made a lot of it funny. Everything he says is just pure gold.
Oh yes, I will kill Crash Bandicoot. Kill him forever. Oh, I love this part. Okay, it's done.
Cortex also has some funny bits for the 2.5 minutes or so he gets in this game.
I promise, from now on, I'll be more evil, more villainous, more horrible! Horrible! Oh, and go kill bandicoots too. I'm still going to spank you stupid for this.
However, we need to address the elephant in the room. Crunch still thinks he's Mr. T, and apparently some of that rubbed off on Tiny because now he thinks he's Mike Tyson. Seriously, who the hell thinks this is intimidating?
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to eat your face. I'm still mad about the last game. You didn't even invite me. That really hurt.
Wait, why was he so butthurt about not being in tag team racing? If you ask me, I think he dodged a bullet.
This game has some replay value, but not that much. You can go back to previous episodes to unlock more stuff, including skins. After jacking a certain amount of one Titan, you'll unlock that Titan's skin. When Crash wears that skin, he can stun that Titan with just one hit. The free jack masks also do this. This makes jacking certain Titans much easier. In fact, it becomes a bit too easy. Although I hate trying to jack battlers and sludges, so I can give the skins a pass. You also get a Halloween skin for reaching 50% completion. Sorry, that had to get out. After completing levels, you can view info pages for enemies and Titans, fully narrated by Aku Aku. I can understand why a lot of people really don't like this game. It's definitely not every Crash fan's cup of tea, but hey, it's got something for everyone. Cool platforming, addicting beat 'em up, badass Titans, challenging bosses, and awesome music. And this game has co-op mode.
Say what?
Yes, for the first time since Bash, you and your friend can play together. The cool thing is that one of you can press a button to jump into the other's backpack. This is very convenient as you can decide who is better at the platforming segments. There are two different backpack styles. Piggyback mode just has one player riding the other's back, while Leapfrog mode has the control switch between players after jumping. This is weird. Don't play co-op with Leapfrog mode. You may have noticed that this is not my gameplay. That's because it isn't. My good friend Monstro did a playthrough with his friend Zigadox way back in the Stimpy Land days. The videos were recently republished on his second channel, The Return of Stimpy. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description. Do take note that it's only an archive channel, therefore expect no new uploads. If you and your friend are good enough at the game, you can just breeze through the difficult parts of the game, especially Uka Uka's boss fight. Overall, this game is very enjoyable. I'm sorry, but hearing people say this game ruined their childhood is just hysterical. Let me tell you something. My childhood was killed by seeing Mario and Robot Chicken, finding out Santa wasn't real, and hearing Sonic's Japanese voice actor in Sonic X say shit in English. The fuck's your excuse? Crash of the Titans gets 6 out of 10. I get why fans of the old games wouldn't necessarily like this game, but at least give it a chance, like I did. You might like it, you might hate it. Play the game for yourself and decide. Would I recommend this game? I don't know. On one hand, I want to because it is a fun game, but on the other hand, I don't because it's a Crash game, and I know a lot of people don't like it. But hey, I used to be part of that group. No, not the group that said Titans ruined my childhood. The group that just simply didn't like the game. Now I find it to be super enjoyable, playing through the levels, watching the funny cutscenes, and reminding myself that there are worse games in the series than this. So, yes, I do recommend this game.
Hello everyone. As you can see, I've taken some precautionary measures for today's episode, because I don't want you sick fucks contaminating me. Anyway, today's episode was going to be Mind Over Mutant, but some other stuff happened. Good stuff, I mean. You see, the channel just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, and that was a huge accomplishment for me. To think so many people actually give a damn about my videos just brings warmth and joy to my cold black heart. So thank you all so much for getting the channel to where it is now. I suppose this calls for a special video, so let's pick a special game to review. Let's see, what game should I have a look at today? Well, I have been wanting to redo the original trilogy. Nah, another time. No, thank you. It's time.
yes, finally I can talk about Sonic Unleaked. This video has been a long time coming. I had this planned for quite a while. In fact, I planned it after the 700 sub special. That means this has been in the back burner for 3 years, waiting to rise from the Earth's core. See what I did there? Now I have teased Sonic Unleashed on my channel numerous times. I did a Let's Play of it back in 2016-2017, but...
Fucking 2 tons?
I fucking hate it. My history with Sonic the Hedgehog is a bit weird, actually. You're probably thinking, your first Sonic game was Adventure or Heroes, right? Well, no. My first Sonic game was Riders. After I played this game, I grew attached to the characters that I followed the series pretty closely after that. I played the good and bad games. Yes, I have played and beaten Sonic 06. It was not fun. Anyway, time to stop beating around the bush. Why Sonic Unleashed for the 1000 subscriber special? Why not Colors or Generations? Because Unleashed is the one I grew up with. This copy that I hold is from when I got it for Christmas of 2008. That means I've had this game in my collection for almost as long as it's been out. Besides NHL 2K8 and some PS2 games, Unleashed is the oldest game I have in my collection. My current copy of CTR is not the same one I had from when I was a kid. So, let's not delay any further. Let's put this in the Xbox. God, this idle video is giving me flashbacks. This game was developed by Sonic Team using the new Hedgehog engine. The story sees Sonic and Eggman battling it out once again in space. When Eggman captures him, Sonic uses the Chaos Emeralds to go super. Eggman flees to his laser cannon and captures Super Sonic, draining the emeralds of all their power. With the emeralds' power extracted, Eggman fires his super laser blast at the Earth. The planet then splits apart, and the spectral beast known as Dark Gaia is awakened from his slumber. Meanwhile, Sonic is also undergoing some changes. This is his first transformation into the Werehog. Eggman sends Sonic out into space, and Dark Gaia breaks himself apart. Sonic crashes onto Earth and survives. He finds and befriends a little... I don't even know who he names Chip. Chip doesn't know who he is, so your goal as Sonic is to help Chip get his memory back, while restoring power to the Chaos Emeralds and putting the planet back together. With the story established, how does this game play? Well, Sonic is... how do I say this without sounding cliché? Fast. I'm sorry, but I can't think of any other analogies. Unleashed was the first game in the series to introduce the boost mechanic. On consoles, of course. You get boost energy by destroying Eggman's mechs and collecting rings. The boost allows you to breeze through the daytime stages. With the boost, these stages only last about 2 minutes, with a couple exceptions. However, we don't spend the whole game playing as the Hedgehog. We also get to play as the Werehog, which I actually don't mind. It's refreshing. It's in some cases much easier to platform, and above all, it doesn't outstay its welcome. At least for the first half of the game anyway. The places we can go to are Apatos, Spagonia, Mazuri, Haloska, Shunan, Shamar, Empire City, Adabat, and Eggman Land. Yep, the giant talking egg finally did it. More on Eggman Land later. When this game was released in 2008, it had 2 versions. The first one we're looking at is the HD version, released on the Xbox 360 and PS3. The other one is the SD version, released for the Wii and PS2. Very few people know this game came out on PS2, so the SD version is often just called the Wii version. The HD version is running on the newly fandangled Hedgehog engine, creating absolutely beautiful graphics. Sometimes too beautiful for the consoles to handle it. I love coming back to this game and speeding through the different stages. Windmill Isle, Savannah Sedaddle, Cool Edge, Dragon Road, Skyscraper Scamper, Arid Sands, Jungle Joyride, Eggman Land, and my all-time favorite, Rooftop Run. I have memorized Act 1 enough that I can do it in my sleep. But I digress. The cutscenes are in-game with a few FMV sprinkled in. Right before you fight the Egg Beetle, Eggman asks what has to be the stupidest question he's ever asked in his life.
Eggman! How'd you get here so quickly?
He's fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. How else do you think he got here so quickly? Although in the cutscene after restoring the first piece of the planet, Tails says his line a bit too late.
The planet
Oh, right. Nice job.
My copy of the game is starting to show its age. Anyway, let's talk about the controls. They're a bit slippery, but the fact that you're playing as the fastest thing alive would explain it. The Werehog's controls feel good too. Sometimes the jumping is a bit whack when you're running, but it's nothing that makes the game unplayable. Sonic can unlock new abilities like stomping, wall jumping, boosting in the air, and dashing through a trail of rings. You also get to pilot the tornado in 2 QTE-filled acts, both ending with a boss fight against the Egg Cauldron. The main collectibles in this game are the Sun and Moon medals. You will need at least 80 Moon medals and 120 Sun medals for an any % completion. Now, a lot of people will not like this, but I have no problems with it. Most of the medals are located en route to the goal, so it's not that big a deal. Each temple is guarded by either Eggman's creations or dark creatures originating from Dark Gaia. Sonic and Chip need to defeat these guys in order to access the Gaia temples and restore the Chaos Emeralds, and therefore the planet. There's the Egg Beetle, Dark Phoenix, Egg Devil Ray, Dark Moray, Dark Guardian, Egg Lancer, Egg Dragoon, and finally Dark Gaia. Alright, enough bullshit. Let's talk about Eggman Land, the big daddy of them all. Eggman Land is consistently considered by many to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest, Sonic level ever. I would agree if it wasn't for End of the World. However, I find the challenge to be quite welcoming. Everything in Eggman Land feels so good to perfect. The platforming, the high-speed straightaways, the branching paths, the bobsled section, everything about Eggman Land is so intimidating. Shouldn't it be? I mean, Eggman has been wanting to build this empire for nearly a decade. He's tried countless times and failed thanks to Sonic. Now he finally gets the chance to do it, and he did not disappoint. This stage is as fun as it is pretty damn brutal. This is also a great place to get a lot of EXP. Yep, EXP in a Sonic game. Sonic's speed, rain energy, health, combat skills, unleash meter, strength, and shields can be upgraded by grabbing Chaos Orbs, commonly dropped by enemies. You can also get EXP from eating food you purchase at shops. I love loading up my inventory with 99 chili dogs. Speaking of chili dogs, you can get more dogs that give you more EXP by completing missions. These range from reaching the goal in a set time, collecting a certain amount of rings, and defeating a certain number of enemies. Good luck doing any of these on Eggman Land. This game was actually well built. There aren't too many glitches here. Okay, most of the time there aren't too many glitches.
The bosses are a bit on the easy side, with only one real exception. However, once you clear Eggman Land and beat Eggman's Egg Dragoon, the final boss happens. Fuck.
Dark Gaia is by far the worst final boss in Sonic the Hedgehog history. You have to boost to him, do a QTE, then knock out one of his eyes as Sonic. That takes about 2 minutes. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, what if I told you that you have to do it 2 more times? Say what you want about Solaris or Time Eater, both of those fights would be over before you even get halfway through Dark Gaia. Then after he injects his purple stuff all over the world, he performs what has to be the sickest transformation I have ever seen. Ooh, that last one is like the Eye of Sauron is staring deep into your soul. I love it. Unfortunately, that love goes away as soon as the game comes back. We have to boost to the shield as Super Sonic, collecting rings to fill our health bar along the way, and take out every single one of these snake things that are generating the shield. I hate this so much. Once the shield is deactivated, Dark Gaia grabs Chip, and Sonic executes another QTE. This one has you press B, Y, X, Y, A, Y, then X 60 times, while not pressing any other buttons in the process. Then it ends with Sonic boosting into and bursting Dark Gaia's big eye. Dark Gaia is dead. Sonic falls, Chip catches him, he flings Sonic back to the surface, and you're done. Yep, Chip ain't coming back. Every stage has extra acts you can play through to try and pick up a couple more medals. At the end of every act, just like any other Sonic game, you'll be given a rank based on how well you did. The ranks are E, D, C, B, A, and S. If you get rank E, this game is not afraid to remind you of your lack of skills. Ladies and gentlemen, rank E. It's so insulting, I love it. Sonic Unleashed has it all. Fast-paced daytime stages, combat-heavy Werehog stages, easy yet satisfying bosses, and tough-as-nails Eggman Land. On top of all that, awesome music. If only Dark Gaia wasn't absolutely tedious, this game would have been given a solid 8. But Sonic Unleashed gets 7 out of 10. Oh man, what a Sonic 3D blast
Guess I'll just be killing myself then.
it was to go back to that game. Now how does the Wii version stack up? Where do I even begin?
Hold up. Why don't you take this time to go to the nearest sink and wash your hands? Seriously, you'll thank me later. Don't worry, I'll give you the 20 seconds you need.
What's up, guys? Anthony for G-Fog. This is again how you piss off everybody. Just kidding, it's a teaser trailer.
Alright, let's get back to the review. Well, for starters, I have to use the Wiimote to skip the wear your wrist strap screen. Great start. The story is the same as the HD version, so I won't discuss it again. The cutscenes are pre-rendered with the FMVs included. However, I can't skip them. I can skip the FMVs, but not the other cutscenes. Yes, I'm pushing every button on my GameCube controller, but nothing's happening. I'm ready to give up now. No, I can't. I set myself up for this, so I have to finish it. So after a whole bunch of tutorials, 2 acts, and a few missions, we get our first chance to play as the Werehog. If you thought the Werehog was bad in the HD version, play the Wii version and you will want to die. Any slight movement of the control stick causes Sonic to zoom himself halfway across the screen. GameCube controller users have to alternate the L and R triggers to attack enemies. This is fucking dumb. This version's controls are absolutely weak. Sonic feels loose and out of control all the time. It's so bad, even running in a straight line is complicated as fuck. Rolling around at the speed of crap. The Werehog gets way too much of the game. And look at this HUD. Am I playing Sonic Unleashed or fucking God of War? There's barely any high-speed, action-packed daytime stages in this version, and when they show up, they're gone for another hour. Not to mention, the boosting is not fluent in this game at all. You have to constantly press Y every 2 seconds, meaning you have to be constantly collecting rings, and it feels unnatural. Instead of walking around villages, the hub areas are now one screen with different things you can click. But with the menu being this sensitive, you might as well play with the Wiimote and Nunchuck. Come on. Come on. Pick the right one. You can do it. There we go. Oh, you bastard. The medals are earned differently. Now you get them by completing tutorials, missions, and acts. You can earn up to 3 medals in acts depending on your rank. You can collect sun medals in the Werehog stages and moon medals in the daytime stages. The medals can then be used to open up doors in the Gaia gates that grant you access to puzzles, allowing you to collect extra goodies as well as 1-ups. Yeah, 1-ups work differently in this game. Instead of getting more lives by collecting 100 rings, you get more lives by solving puzzles in the Gaia gates. What? The gates are accessed via sun, moon, and star tablets, which act as the keys. You get these by talking to villagers and completing acts. Everything is sounding good up to this point, but once again, I have to remind you, Sonic controls like absolute rancid ass. So expect a lot of more often than not. By the way, that scream was recorded while Jason Griffith had a sore throat, yet he still managed to give his best performance as Sonic. I respect you, J. Griff.
I miss you, please come back.
It should probably be worth noting that there is no skyscraper scamper in this version at all. Nor is there any Savannah Sadaddle. Oh well. The graphics are fine, I guess. It still looks good, it just not as good as other 2008 Wii games. As for the PS2, we don't talk about the PS2 graphics. The bosses are a bit more difficult, but that's more or less due to Sonic's shitty controls. The Egg Dragoon, on the other hand, was piss easy because you can hit him before he has time to attack you. I will give the Wii version one thing it has over the HD version. The final boss is much better. Here, the first part consists of you playing Punch-Out against Dark Gaia, then you switch to Sonic and knock out all 3 of Dark Gaia's eyes. All at once. Without doing the Punch-Out thing again. That's so much better than this. And the second half is also much better. You collect rings to boost into Dark Gaia's eyes while avoiding large rocks and Dark Gaia's attacks. But is it worth doing all the other bullshit to get to this point in the game and praise how much better this boss is compared to the HD version? No! I'm sorry, but with controls that are this bad and all of the countless Werehog nonsense, it's just not worth it. If you like this version of Sonic Unleashed, that's fine, I'm not gonna stop you. I just personally cannot stand it. Yes, it is nice that you don't have to worry about collecting medals in order to progress, but I still don't like this game. In my opinion, the HD version is the superior option, in spite of its awful final boss. Sonic Unleashed on the Wii gets 3 out of 10. I can't recommend this game at all. I hate the Wii version with a passion. Get it off my screen, please. Thank you.
And with that, the 1000 subscriber special is complete. It's been a blast going through both versions of Sonic Unleashed. I'd like to personally thank all 1000 of you who clicked that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me.
Yes, Dark Gaia, crush this!
For that reason, and that reason alone, I'm not scoring games anymore.
Yeah, that video aged pretty well, didn't it? So a couple episodes ago, I looked at Crash of the Titans. I genuinely enjoyed my time with it. I don't think it's the best Crash game ever, but I don't think it was a childhood ruiner either. Having said that, I feel like this game does have room for improvement.
A year passes, and fans are greeted with Crash Mind Over Mutant. Now, I never played this game when I was younger. Because I only played Titans for like 20 minutes, I never even bothered with its sequel. So today will be the first time I ever get to actually play this game. And the Crash community is going to condemn me to hell for saying this, but I liked it. Seriously. Do you hear something? Oh god, it's another stipulating ripoff. Run!
Crash Mind Over Mutant was released on October 7th, 2008 for the PS2, Wii, Nintendo DS, PSP, and Xbox 360. It was also released digitally on the PS3. This was the first Crash game to be published by Activision due to the Vivendi merger. The DS version is a slow and clunky side-scroller that plays similarly to the console version of Titans. Also like its predecessor, the console version was ported to the PSP. Those who ended up enjoying Titans were most likely excited to see that there was a sequel coming. However, these same people did not end up enjoying Mutant. Why? Backtracking. More on that later. First, let's get our story out of the way, since it really doesn't do much in the grand scheme of things. The story picks up right where Titans left off. The Doominator is destroyed, and Cortex sends Nina to Evil Public School. He then reunites with...
What? I'm not doing the joke. It's old. Well, this is our last ride with Cash Banuka, so what the hell.
He then reunites with Dr.
Nitrous Brio!
And together they create the NV, a mind control device disguised as a virtual reality headset. Meanwhile, the Bandicoots are relaxing on Wampa Island, and Coco is attempting to convert Meanwhile, the Bandicoots are relaxing on Wampa Island, and Coco is attempting to convert the Dominator's Eye into an entertainment system that will play games, show movies, and dispense butter.
Okay, can someone please explain why Coco has a butter fetish?
Anyway, she needs some parts to get it to work, so she sends Crash on a journey to bring an extra battery for, find 6 Capacitron parts. One thing you'll notice right away is that this time around, there's a lot more focus and thought put into the genre that Crash is best known for: platforming. Granted, the Titans are still here, but you won't see them for quite a while. Eventually, you will run into your first Titan, the Ratsicle. Also returning from the first game are the Spikes, Snipes, Stenches, Rhino Rollers, Scorporillas, Sludges, and even Yucky! No more Gores, no more Electrics, and no more Shelliphants. In their place, we get 2 new Titans: the Grimly, who can slow down time, and the TK, who sucks. Mutant was a massive improvement to Titans in that not only could you finally platform with your Titans, but when you had to climb up walls or dig through the ground, like an actual Bandicoot, you could also store your Titan and jack another one. However, if you have 2 Titans, you have to give up one of them when you have to climb. That's a shame. You may notice a little cursor moving around on the screen, and you probably already noticed it back in my Titans review. Well, you see, the Wii version of the game allows you to use your Wiimote to collect Mojo from a distance, a la Mario Galaxy. So that's pretty neat, and it makes Mojo collecting much easier in my opinion. There are only 3 bosses this time around. There's Evil Coco, Evil Crunch, and Cortex. The voice actors from the previous game return to reprise their respective roles, with Maurice LaMarche coming on to voice Embryo. This is where Brio's character really shines. Radical knew what they were doing with this character, and they went for it. Brio behaves like he is supposed to. He constantly goes on about inventing everything, even going as far as to say that he wrote the Bible. Maurice's delivery in all of his lines just makes Brio's character all the more meaningful. Not to say it wasn't meaningful to begin with, just not really emphasized as much as here. The character models look much better in this game. Changes were made to Crunch, Crash, and Coco. It's still not the best she's looked, but it beats the hell out of Melonhead. Crunch looks pretty badass now, until he opens his mouth, of course. Crash also looks pretty cool. He still has the tattoos, but again, that doesn't bother me. Aku Aku, Cortex, Engine, and Nina all look the same. Thank God we don't see Tiny Tyson in this game. The cutscenes are a bit of an interesting topic, as this game plays its cutscenes in different styles of animation, like Muppets, The Matrix, Dragon Ball, South Park, and even the Steamboat Willie days. I'll admit, these are pretty cool. I always found it funny how one cutscene, Crash can look like a piece of wet feces, and the next he can look like an absolute badass. I like these. And of course, these cutscenes are accompanied by, believe it or not, really decent dialogue. With the exception of Engine, I never found anybody to be obnoxiously annoying. At this point, Radical had established the characters and their traits, and honestly, I think this is the best we see out of it. Mark Barrow returns to compose this game's music, and this time, it's not copyrighted! Mind over Mutant music for everyone! The music in Titans was good, but this soundtrack seriously slaps, no exaggeration. Controlling this game feels just like Titans, except you can't glide in the air anymore. This is actually fine, since you no longer have to jump from cliff to cliff. The climbing, however, is a nightmare. Half the time, Crash won't even grab the other ledge I'm trying to grab. Mutant decides to do what Twinsanity did and make the game open world with 8 areas, rather than 20 linear point A to point B levels. However, this can oftentimes lead to people getting lost, which is what happened to me when I was trying to find Uka Uka's last bone in the Wastelands.
Alright, I've put it off for quite a while, but it's now time to address the elephant in the room. Get it? This is what ultimately drove players insane. Backtracking. There was plenty of it. For only the first half of the game, really.
When you go to the gate to the ice prison, the game will tell you that you need to find a Rhino Roller in order to open the gate. So you go all the way back through the Ice Kingdom, back to Wampa Island, and over to the Wastelands. But before you do that, you must first encounter the Scorporilla again. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like she was seriously nerfed. Anyway, after you trek through the wastelands, you find the Rhino Roller, take it all the way back to the Ice Kingdom, only to find the game is giving one to you, already stunned and ready to jack. I guess they did that just in case you lost your Rhino Roller on your way back, which is what happened to me, but still, why would Radical do such a thing? After that, you help Nina with her school project, then go all the way back through the Ice Kingdom to Wampa Island. Then you have to go through this area again, stun and jack the hero Spike, and defeat the other Spikes. After this, the game just sends you straight to the deserts, and even back at that gate you couldn't access earlier. After all of that garbage, that was that. The rest of the game went pretty smoothly.
Again, the backtracking plagues the first half of the game, but once you get into the second half, it's quite frankly very tame. I know you have to revisit the Wastelands, Wampa Island, and the Ice Kingdom to find Uka Uka's bones, but the game shows you where to go with different paths that lead to the mutants, as well as portals that let you warp to the areas with relative ease. Uka Uka feels sympathy for us for once.
Of course, you will have to go through Mount Grimley a second time to bring the bones back to Uka Uka, even though he already has them, but I still don't mind it. Once all that is complete, then it's off to Cortex's space station. We get there via a portal inside the Doominator's head. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to logically explain that. Here we have a series of platforming segments split into 2 rooms. By hitting these switches with a spin drop, you can access the rooms in the space station. This one has you trekking across a bottomless pit while trying not to get rolled off by these giant barrels, or sniped by these things that look like toilets. The Spybots got some upgrades, huh? I hate these things because they constantly fire at Crash, so if you get hit, Crash will die, and you will have to start over. Look here, I got close to the end of the room, but the damn Spybot once again is spamming rockets at me. I get hit, then die, then get sent back to the beginning again. Motherfucking cunt! Until I found out Crash can spin the rockets back at them. Thanks for telling me, game. Anyway, clearing these rooms finally brings us to Cortex, where he mutates himself, and we use a Grimly to slow him down and attack him. Once he's stunned, we jack him and defeat 3 waves of NPCs and battlers. Then you spin this giant cylinder until a giant button appears. Make Cortex body slam onto the button, and there you go. Game complete. They still aren't cleaning up the mess though, because why the fuck would they do that? In Mutant, you can get a multiplier based on how many hits you can store in your combo. Your combo never breaks unless you get hit, fall, or die. This makes upgrading Crash's spin duration and health much, much easier.
When you beat the game, you'll be brought back to Crash's home, where you have more goodies to look at.
Things like costumes, the game's cutscenes, character descriptions, concept art, and even fan art. Wow, that's actually really cool how Radical did that. Oh. Never mind.
So, is Crash Mind Over Mutant as bad as the majority of the community claims it to be? In my opinion, no. I know people really hate this game purely because of the backtracking, but to me, the backtracking wasn't as tedious as I've heard people say.
It still, however, does not make any sense why the first half of the game makes you backtrack so much, but the second half doesn't. Granted, there is still some in the second half, but not nearly as much as the first half. If you can get past that, you have yourself an otherwise really good game. It improved on the mistakes made by Titans. Platforming with your Titans? Achieved. Storing your Titan for later use? Fulfilled. Tolerable characters? Absolutely. For the most part. Mutant is certainly not as bad as people think. It just gets plagued by absurd backtracking in the first half of the game. While Radical did make improvements to Titans, which I do appreciate, I feel as though it is on the same level. Crash Mind Over Mutant gets 6 out of 10. To say Mutant is on par with Titans isn't a bad thing. Sequels that were put out to play like its predecessor should be as good or better. And I'm glad to say that Mutant is no exception.
You Crash fans can march to my house with pitchforks and torches and the coronavirus all you want, but I will still stand by what I said in this video. I legit enjoyed my time with Mutant, as well as Titans. I kinda wish Activision and whoever the fuck would try this again just to see how much more the Titans series could evolve and improve.
I feel like these 2 games could be brought back at some point. Not as a remaster, but as a full-fledged brand new game to reintroduce fans to this niche series that didn't get the respect and appreciation it deserved back when it was first released.
I actually wouldn't mind a new Crash game that played like Titans or Mutant. It makes me curious to see how fans would react to it. I'd like to see game journalists compare that to Dark Souls.
Rosebud. Yes, rosebud frozen peas. Full of country goodness and green penis.
Well, we made it. I managed to look at all of the Crash games. All of them. All of them. All of them! Anyway, I wanted to give this series a proper send-off by ranking all of the Crash games I reviewed from worst to best, in my opinion.
This video is going to go through game by game, and if there's anybody out there who is a Junior Nitro 24 veteran, not that you'd want to be, you already know which one is number 1. And for anybody wondering, no. Crash Boom Bang being excluded will not affect this list at all, as it would have just been placed at the bottom. Also, I'm not using some tier list thing that everybody else has already beaten to death. So with all that being said, let's go through the series one last time, as I rank every Crash Bandicoot game I reviewed from worst to best, in my opinion. Let's begin with number 16. When fans heard about Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon getting a crossover game, they imagined the game to be like long lost brothers finally reuniting. That would have been much better than what we got. What we got was two of possibly the worst GBA games that were both minigame collections. One of them was Crash Purple, and it takes the 16th spot on this list. What else can I say? It's terrible. The controls are crap, the minigames are crap, the bosses are crap, and the task of collecting all Crash Purple and Spyro Orange trading cards in order to fight Cortex and Ripto is ultra crap. Do yourself a favor and never even mention this game. It doesn't deserve it. Next game, please. It's sad that we see this game before the other GBA titles, but that's just how bad this game is. At number 15 is Crash Tag Team Racing, the first of 3 games to be developed by Radical Entertainment. Needless to say, it flopped. Hard. The comedy in this game was aimed towards kids, hence the constant farting and burping, but as a young adult, which is what the majority of the Crash fanbase is, it feels like a big fuck you. The graphics looked horrendous, the soundtrack was irritating as fuck with a couple exceptions, the controls were off, the platforming was rancid, and the characters, especially Crash, were far, far beyond fucking annoying. If you're a little kid, sure, go play the game. If you're an adult, no, skip it. It's not worth it. Even though I beat it 100%, somebody call a therapist. Coming in at number 14 is Crash Bandicoot: The Huge Adventure. It was a pretty small game by Crash's standards, with only 20 crystals and 4 bosses, if you don't count the Mega Mix chase scene. The other real problem was that this game was just a collection of 2D ports of levels from the original PS1 titles, which is a bit disappointing. Thankfully, Vicarious Visions decided to get creative with this game's sequel. Speaking of which... rounding out the GBA titles is Crash Bandicoot Entranced. It was essentially the same game as Huge Adventure, but with more original levels, new bosses, and of course the luxury of not having to collect the relics to get the true ending. I will say that this game is the best choice out of the other 2 GBA games, however, this game is still not that great. A lot of problems I have with Huge Adventure in terms of controls are still present here. Either way, for as good and original as this game was, in that Cortex was not even in the game, I would still skip it. Well, that's it for the GBA titles. Now let's continue the list with number 12.
But first, go get a snack, get up and stretch, or go wash your hands. With the current circumstances, the third option should be a 200 times a day thing.
I'm not saying this game is entirely bad, but compared to everything else, it's pretty weak. Number 12 is Crash Nitro Kart, an attempt to be CTR's successor. To put it simply, the racing felt super clunky, especially the anti-gravity sections, and the controls were not the greatest. In terms of the game's graphics, this is honestly one of the best looking games in the series. However, if you can't mix tight controls with a kart racer, you have to sacrifice the stellar visuals, which is what Vicarious Visions failed to do. People can get too critical with this game. I have seen that happen before, because while it is an average racing game, that's just it. Racing games should never be considered average. Ultimately, you're better off playing CTR. If I made this list when I first started making reviews, this game would have easily been number 16. But I have grown more mature, and I can rightfully put Wrath of Cortex in the number 11 spot. Like CNK, it's not necessarily bad, but it isn't good either. When they emulate Warped, it becomes a pretty decent game. When they try something new, however, that's when the game plummets. Not to mention, the graphics look really gross and the controls are a bit finicky. And of course, the vehicles. If there's one thing this game has going for it though, it's the incredible soundtrack. I have used OSTs from this game countless times in my videos because they're so damn good. I highly recommend you look it up and give it a listen. But other than that, there's really nothing else here that's worth your time. I like this game, to a certain extent. Number 10 goes to Crash Twinsanity. When it comes to this game, you either love it or hate it. You can't go in the middle or else the Crash community will dismantle you. I'm going to be the brave boy here and say I like Twinsanity for being funny. This game has some solid controls, the graphics look stunning for a 2004 PS2 game, and the story, while short, is good. The soundtrack is unique, but unique is not synonymous with good. It just sounds good because Spiral Mouth had a whole bunch of filters put on them. Some tracks are pretty good, but most of it is pretty forgettable. I fucking love this! Wait, I said that? Huh. But do I think it's still worth your time? Definitely. A surprisingly decent game in the series. Number 9 is Crash Mind Over Mutant, the direct sequel to Titans. While the game did improve the many flaws that Titans suffered, this came at a price. The first half of the game was plagued with so much backtracking. However, the co-op was still fun, with Coco being playable, the beating up NPCs and jacking Titans is still addicting, the soundtrack still kicks serious ass, and the controls were solid. Do I recommend picking up this game? In all honesty, yes. It may not be a game for Crash fans, but it is good. Again, a game that is worth your time. It's just so low because other games exist. Number 8 goes to Crash of the Titans, the game that ruined everyone's childhood. This was the beginning of the reboot, and some of the changes they made, I'm honestly okay with, but Tiny Tyson, I am not okay with. The voice acting in this game makes it funnier than it has any right to be. One minor complaint would be Uka Uka's design. There is absolutely zero resemblance to his old look, and it's a real shame. Also, Coco looks like shit. Putting those nitpicks aside, I did enjoy my time with Titans, and I think you will as well. Yes, it's just the original trilogy remastered from the ground up, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It is. The Insane Trilogy comes in at number 7, and yes, I'm counting it as one game. This game helped put Crash Bandicoot back on the map. It is a shame though, because VV didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. However, their doubts were immediately put to rest when they saw how many people bought, played, and loved it, myself included. It got a second release the following year on Xbox One, PC, and Switch, with the PS4 version getting a massive update that adds the brand new level future tense, exponentially reduces the load times, allows you to skip the VV logo, and puts Dingo Dial's defeated line back in Warped. Why it was absent in the first place, your guess is as good as mine. This trilogy of remasters is definitely worth your time. However, I don't think it's something you need to drop everything and buy anymore. But that's a story for another video. For now, on to the next game.
Wegmans is racist against tangerines.
Our first PS1 title on the list. At number 6 is Crash Bash. While this game is fun to play with friends, playing this game by yourself is not something you should do. This game was as fun as it was fucking brutal. The difficulty suddenly gets really tough in the second Warp Room of Adventure mode. Newcomers beware. It's taken me a whopping 12 years to get the 200% completion, and it felt so good when it finally happened. If you have friends, you can definitely kill time with the fun minigames. Otherwise, I'd give it a pass. The game that started it all. Number 5 goes to Crash Bandicoot. While mildly outdated, it's still relaxing to come back to this game. This game was as fun as it was fucking brutal. I feel deja vu all of a sudden. Crash Bandicoot was all about waiting, taking your time. If you did that, this was a relatively easy game. However, the moment you lose your patience, you will know hate and only hate for the rest of your time with this game. The controls were awkward, the soundtrack was good, and the bosses were boring. But for a first attempt, not bad. Because it is the first game in the series, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, which makes the game all the more worth your time. Number 4 goes to Crash Bandicoot Warped. This game served as the finale to the original trilogy, and it did really well. Yeah, Naughty Dog went a little too far with the vehicles, but majority of them did control well, so if anything, they added to the experience. The controls were tight, the soundtrack was awesome, and the graphics look amazing. Definitely pick up Warped if you haven't already. A faithful remaster of my favorite game of all time. Number 3 is Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Originally just going to be a remake of CTR, Beanox went above and beyond by giving us every character from the racing games and more, every track, battle arena, and mode, and cards from both CTR and CNK, and even extra stuff like tag team racing cards and Grand Prix that gave you even more stuff. More tracks, more characters, more cards, more stickers, more skins. This no longer feels like a remaster. It feels like its own game. Sure, the tracks are remastered and the adventure mode is the same, but it still feels like old mixed with new. CTRNF is without a doubt worth the purchase. Number 2 goes to Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. This game was absolutely amazing. It had tight controls, wonderful levels, memorable characters, and not the greatest story, but who cares. Could do without the final boss though. Without a doubt, Crash 2 is the must-have for any Crash fan, any platforming fan, any gaming fan. If you haven't already, go buy it.
And now we're down to one game left. You all have narrowed it down by now, and most of you already knew before you even clicked on this video. Here is number 1.
Admit it, you saw this coming. Taking the number 1 spot on the list is Crash Team Racing. This game is amazingly tremendous, with tons of playable characters from the trilogy, tracks at the various locations with new places to explore, a multiplayer that you could kill hours in, and a soundtrack that really gets your adrenaline going. I'll never forget the first time I played this game. I'm so glad Crash Team Racing was my introduction to gaming, and there's no game I'd rather have to be my favorite game of all time.
And with that, the list is complete. In addition to asking you what your list would look like, I'm gonna pin a comment asking you guys if the first game you ever played is also your favorite game of all time. Let's get a thread going. Thank you all so much for watching this video, as well as the Crash reviews.
Shit, we never got Coco's battery.
Hello there. Do you have trouble trying to find games of your childhood? If so, then check out my channel, JuniorNitro 24, with almost every game that takes you back to when you were actually good at playing them. Join me and my friend Sir Oddboy as we take you across many journeys in the YouTube world. With Let's Plays, tutorials, and reactions alike, this channel is guaranteed to knock your socks off every video. Literally. Subscribe to JuniorNitro 24 to get started. JuniorNitro 24, the channel that never gets old. Until it does. No subscription necessary, see channel for details.
What you just saw was my first channel trailer in its entirety. That was the first of many awful videos we'll be witnessing today. So after concluding the Crash series, I thought now would be a good time to dig up some old videos of mine.
And I'm not talking about my old reviews. Bounce, and bounce, and bounce all the time. More bounce, and more bounceroo. As beautimous as they are, because I already did that years ago. And even that was cringe as fuck. No, I'm talking about some old videos I uploaded onto YouTube back when I started caring about posting videos in 2014. We'll be seeing a lot of interesting videos, and a good chunk of these I'm coming back to for the first time in a while. But first, a little history. You see, back in May of 2012, I created a YouTube channel so I could comment on and subscribe to my favorite channels and videos at the time, which were Most Impossible GH3 Song, Tyrant King 10, and Ray William Johnson's Equals 3. Bonus points to whoever remembers these guys. I first discovered YouTube in 2009 when my sister showed it to me. Back then it was sped up versions of copyrighted songs that filled her old channel's watch history. You could probably guess how much fun that was for me.
It's fucking gorillas.
When I finally got around to making a channel, I posted 2 videos and called it a day. In August of 2013, I tried making a couple more videos, but wasn't happy, so I stopped again. Then that Christmas, I got my first laptop. This was the birth of my gaming videos, starting with a tutorial on how to emulate PS1 games on your PC. 6 years later, my outlook is completely different. And I figured for those who are just getting to know me, this would be a neat way to look back at my humble beginnings.
I had a total of 5 videos between May 2012, the birth of my channel, and August 2013. They were an old Wii Fit video, a Family Guy shitpost, an announcement video about weekly vlogs, and a whopping 2 of said vlogs. Needless to say, they were all terrible and I rightfully got rid of them. The only one I deleted due to copyright was the Family Guy clip. It was just the scene when Peter freaks out about a finger going up his bum.
Unfortunately, those aforementioned videos are now lost media. They have been for years now. I didn't even keep the URLs for backup's sake either. And I don't feel like asking YouTube to help me bring them back because, quite frankly, they were awful.
So, get comfortable everyone, because I have a total of 46 videos to present to you all today. All of these come from the 2014-2015 time frame, back when I had my first laptop. First up is a tutorial on how to install EPSXE. Shall we commence?
Hello everybody, this is JuniorNitro 24 here.
And I'm already regretting it.
Throughout the collection of videos I have for you today, majority of them start with that intro. Looking back at it, it just sounds so cliche. This tutorial will cover how you can set up and install all that jazz.
All that jazz. I'm pretty sure I've never said that since that video. That is very old school. And all that jazz. God damn it.
By the way, this was back when game companies weren't too anal about emulation. I mean, even back then, they didn't like it, but they had enough common sense to know that it was simply for convenience. Considering how much those old games can go by these days...
Wait, Search for Reptar is how much?
If people weren't willing to give money to complete strangers to maybe get a PS1 so they can replay the games, they could just find an emulator online, download it, install it, pop the game into the disk drive, and play some Slide Storm with no extra money out of their pockets. Anyway, back to the video. Right, so am I saying anything remotely informative here?
Here you can find all of your plugins that you need, except for the BIOS.
Well, other than showing people where they can download BIOS images for the emulator, it's like going into someone's basement.
Hey there, pal. You want some PlayStation BIOS images?
Nowadays, I would never be able to repeat the actions in this video, which, by the way, is a whopping 17 minutes long. 17 minutes of me having zero clue what I was doing, forgetting basic configurations, leaving dead space everywhere, and breathing heavily into the DJ Hero microphone that I used at the time. No joke, that goes on for about a minute. I honestly wish I had at least some of the skills that I have now in terms of making the video, pacing everything, editing, scripting, etc. Because this video is an absolute mess. Oh great, now I'm showing coolrom.com. Someone please go back in time and shoot me. So now we get to the part of the video where I download Warped, which, by the way, I didn't own a physical copy of back then. Anyway, Warped is downloaded. Time to show the configuration wizard and show literally a minute and a half of Warped so viewers can see that the tutorial works. Oh, it works! After 6 decades. Well, that was video number 2. Anybody out there want to guess what the next video was? I'll give you a second. Okay, time's up. Raise your hand if you set a test recording for Warped.
This is JuniorNitro 24. Epic transition.
God, that shitting intro, man. This was definitely one of the worst things I ever did.
This is just a test recording for Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Oh! Who is that up there? Why are you suddenly showing your face? And why did you set your mouth on top of the microphone? You can adjust the volume in the settings on your PC. What is wrong with you? That's so weird looking at this video and seeing my old room. Seeing all the stuffed animals, the old bed, all my bowling trophies, the SpongeBob hamper, the Saber's wallpaper. Good times. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say about this video other than me just reminding all 3 of my viewers every 5 seconds that this is a test recording.
Alright, so this is a test recording. Remember, this is only going to be a test recording. So yeah, this is going to be a test recording.
I needed to make that perfectly clear. Oh, and the game is slightly louder than me on multiple occasions. I love when the commentators try to talk to me while the game audio is being played.
I still have my intro and my outro to put in.
Fucking hell, I made an outro too?
This has been JuniorNitro 24. Do subscribe. Epic transition again.
Yeah, I'm done here. On to the next video.
This is JuniorNitro.
No! So here I tried my hand at a recurring series on my channel. I had 3 that took place over the weekend since I had weekends off from school. Fridays would be Smash 64 videos, Saturdays would be Monster Truck Madness 64, and Sundays were originally going to alternate between Happy Wheels and the tournament mode in Crash Bash. However, after giving it another thought, I decided to not even upload a Happy Wheels video. And to this day, I have not once uploaded a single episode of Happy Wheels, because all of the big names were already doing it to death. Plus, this was back when literally nobody was watching my videos. So I had some fun.
You killed both of us. Nice going, Luigi.
By the way, I recorded, edited, I use that term loosely, rendered, made a thumbnail for, and uploaded these videos on the same day they were supposed to go up. Why did I do that to myself? Yeah, this is really nothing else. Just me playing Smash 64 and failing to be funny in the process. I actually have been reviving this series every so often, but the last update to Season 4 was all the way back in 2018, so I honestly don't know if I'll ever get back to it. But we do have to give this series credit, as it was the first video I uploaded on YouTube that wasn't a one-off. Anyway, on to the next video. This series spawned one of my first fans, Tom Todd. He loves monster trucks and monster truck video games, like this one, or Monster Jam. So seeing somebody actually watching and enjoying my videos really helped me develop as a creator. It took me a while, but I eventually improved. Again, nothing eventful happens.
Oh! Oh, that was cool!
Except for that part, according to past me. Moving on to Crash Bash.
It's not a Let's Play. It's not a Let's Play. It's a tournament showcase. I guess you could call it. Tournament week. I guess. Every other Sunday, I'm gonna be playing a Crash Bash tournament, and then every other Friday, and then on the Sunday that I'm not playing it.
Just listen to me struggle to talk. I know I should be giving myself a break because this was only my 5th video, but I should have at least had a grasp on what I wanted to say in the video at this point. I kept wanting to say Friday, for crying out loud. Get the fuck out of here, Norton. Also, apologies to any headphone users if you stumble upon this video and manage to watch more than the first second, as I was expressing my voice very loudly throughout this video, and the DJ Hero microphone was rancid as fuck. I mean, look at this. This just screams mediocre commentary. Quite literally.
Now I gotta worry about court. How did he... Bitch!
That part sounded like bitch, but it was actually glitch. Once again, no other noteworthy events, minus the Deadly Black reference towards the end.
Missiles go pew pew!
The next video is just the same thing, only in the Polar Push tournament. So let's see if there's anything worth talking about here.
What I decided to do is, like, every day I'll upload a Crash Bash tournament.
Okay, that's an outright lie. The Crash Bash tournaments were not recorded and uploaded daily. They were every Sunday, and then got moved to Thursday. Norton again! No more, please.
After this video, I took a break from the Crash Bash tournaments and decided to return to the regular shows, no pun intended, as well as begin my first 2 Let's Plays. The Pizza Hut PS1 demo discs, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. So let's quickly check those out, shall we?
Ah, yes, the first time I ever got a copyright claim on my video. For the sake of this video, I won't be showing Final Fantasy VIII. There's really nothing else that happens in these videos, other than this Pizza Hut video being the first to showcase my new intro at the time. Which wasn't great, but it was better than this. Not saying much about these videos will be a recurring theme, so get used to it. There's actually a few things in the Mean Bean Let's Play I can talk about. This is the only Let's Play I recorded entirely with the webcam, and the first episode didn't have the game audio because Kega Fusion was being a dick to me, but then the rest of the Let's Play does have the game audio. Also, I put the webcam in the middle. I honestly don't know why I did that. Oh god, you can tell I taped the microphone onto something to make a bootleg mic stand. Oh, and I was really trying to be Tyrant King 10 2.0. It's quite frankly depressing. This would also be the last video in which I used the DJ Hero microphone.
And you would think that I found myself a better sounding microphone so I didn't look like I was taking a hit. Well, I'll let you in on something. You see these headphones that I still use to edit my videos? This was my second microphone! It sounded absolutely terrible!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to rumble! In Super Smash Bros. Friday, it is back!
And the worst part is, I kept using it up until December 2014, when I finished the Warped Let's Play. I even told my 2 fans to let me know if this was an issue, but nobody said anything. So I was under 2 assumptions. 1, nobody watched the videos, or 2, nobody wanted to speak up about it. I really wish I thought about this before going forward with it, because listen to this feedback.
I will get it fixed. Oh, it's not that bad of a problem.
It sounds like a demented teapot.
So, question of the video.
Oh yeah, this was the birth of the question of the video. This was something Tyrant did throughout his tenure on YouTube, and I wanted to emulate that. By stealing it. Yeah, I was extremely dumb. Anyway, on to video number 21. Again, there is nothing worth talking about here. It's just me being bad at being funny. Next video. Oh great, we're back to Crash Bash.
It should also be worth noting that these videos, the PS1 videos in particular, are home to some of the worst frame rates you will ever see.
This was due to the fact that I was using Microsoft Expression Encoder 4 to record my laptop screen. Yeah, no Bandicam or Fraps. And E4 had a really hard time with recording large windows, so all of these old videos recorded on EPSXE were literally reduced to 15, sometimes as low as 3 frames per second. What was I thinking? Also, I never used text in any of these old videos that I edited with E4, so just be thankful we're not seeing any Comic Sans. Video number 23, my first video for NHL hockey.
In 97, in 91, I'm sorry.
The fuck was that, me? Also, I'm pretty sure nobody watched these videos because what gamer watches sports? And I was recording some of these videos while other videos were being rendered. I don't know why I thought this was okay. Number 24, more Smash, this time with Mario taking on Kirby. This one is the same as the rest of them. Let's just move on to video number 25. Christ, another one? Video number 26. More monster trucks. And more Demented Teapot. Video number 27. Game 3 of the hockey playoffs. Video number 28. Game 4 of the hockey playoffs. Video number 29. More Crash Bash, except apparently we're going to war.
We're going to war! We're going to war! We're going to war!
Video number 30. More Smash, except it's Valentine's Day. Cute. Video number 31. Finally, something else. Yeah, it's another test recording, but at least it's something different.
And joining me via voice chat will be Sir Oddboy. How are you, Sir Oddboy?
Ah, yes. This was the first time my very small audience was introduced to Mr. Glitch. This was back when he referred to himself as Oddboy Stones. He also liked to push a bunch of different buttons, and I was down with it back then, but looking back at it now, it quickly became annoying. Thankfully, he didn't continue doing this after 2015-ish, because that was one of the reasons I had to remove him from the channel for a while. Also, we were using Google Hangouts to call each other, until eventually we moved on to Skype, and now Discord.
Jesus, dude, rated R!
All he said was talk to the hand. On to video number 32.
This thing's a freaking Reese's cup. I'm gonna eat this Reese's cup. I'm gonna eat this Reese's cup! I'm gonna eat it, and I'm gonna eat it goodly. Love that Reese's cup.
That intro sums up everything about these old videos perfectly.
Joining me again is Mr. Oddboy.
Mr. Oddboy? No, it's actually Mr. Glitch. Oh, and yeah, another reason why I excluded him for a while. He was paying absolutely zero attention.
Screw ups.
Video number 33, another test recording for Warped. It's the same thing except shitty microphone, shitty commentary, and Mr. Glitch is here. I even played Toad Village again. Well, at least I also played Boneyard. Still, I already did this back at video number 2, so let's just move on to video number 34.
This is JuniorNitro 24. Enjoy the show.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Hey there, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Sorry if my voice is a little stiff.
You know, the weather is starting to warm up. I think I'm gonna go outside. But just for 5 minutes. Alright, fine. I'll stay down here and watch my old shitty videos. Where are we at? Video number 35? What's this one all about then? Ah, yes, the 100th video I ever uploaded onto YouTube, back when I gave a shit about video milestones. Again, nothing eventful happens, except I told a story about the first time I played CTR, while E4 was taking a shit. Video number 36, my first shoutout I ever gave to anybody. It was given to 251GNR. I still occasionally give shoutouts, only now the video doesn't look like garbage. Video number 37. Another goddamn hockey video. This one is on NHL Face-Off 99. This was uploaded during the very brief Throwback Thursday series. This was actually the very first video I ever recorded on that old laptop. It's weird not hearing commentary during this, but I was still using a shitty mic, so consider this a nice change of pace. Also, a bootleg Tobuscus intro? Really? Video number 38.
The Glitchy 3.
Oh, the old teaser trailer for the Glitchy 3, which is now called the Glitch Lane Army. We're currently playing Sonic 06 over there. Don't ask why.
Now the next batch of videos are clips I created on Mr. Glitch's old Wii U. They were all clips of Mario Kart 8. I made 3 in total. Let's check them out.
That's it. 26 out of 8. Best videos ever. Oscar worthy. Number 42. A room tour video I did back in 2015. Oh my god, look how disgusting this place looks. Who in their right mind would film this with their room looking like this? Oh hey, it's Chewy.
As of today, he's still here. Chewy, come here, bud. Hey, you got room. Come on. Don't touch the script. Hey, Bubs. Hey, you're in the video. Hi, Zero. You want to come up too? You want to be in the video? Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now you both get to be in the video. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh, no, you don't do that.
If you can see this very well, this is actually my new microphone that I got from my dad.
Oh yeah, I finally figured out the headphones were not a great microphone. Good job, me! It only took you, like, practically all of 2014. It's a camera microphone, and it also had irritating feedback, but not as bad as the headphone. Anything is better than the headphones. On to video number 43. Now I'm using my Guitar Hero microphone, and it somehow sounds even worse.
I have Regents coming up very soon for school, so I really need to focus on that, and unfortunately I'm not going to have any interaction with social media after this video.
Yes, me, we have to inform the audience that I have upcoming exams to focus on. All 4 of them. Yeah, this video is just me saying I'm not making videos until I can get through exams. Video number 44. 3 more videos, guys. We're almost done. Hang in there. And this one shows me unboxing my Turtle Beach headphones and my Blue Snowball microphone, which I would use in all of my videos for a little over 4 years. Oh my god, that is my foot. I'm gonna get demonetized. Video number 45. Oh no. What's going on, gamers? My name is JuniorNitro, and welcome to my new channel, John's Reviews. This is already starting out just peachy. And then I'm gonna rate the game out of 10. Alright, so I'll put up like fingers, like if Sonic 06 gets a 1 out of 10. Okay, this was back when I still didn't know how the hell to use Movie Maker, so imagine if I rated games like that and not like how I do it now. Thanks for watching, and I give Gubble a 2 out of 10. I literally only made 1 review under this format, and thank God it was only 1. Also, I like how I called myself John's Reviews rather than make that the name for the show, which I eventually did.
That other channel that past me mentioned in this video, I no longer upload my reviews on. However, I left the previous uploads alone due to Pac-Man World Rally still being the most popular review I made. Honestly, this was a lot of fun to go back and see where all of this started. But we still have one video left. Let's hope we can finish this off with a bang.
It's just a 5-minute video of me showing Brawl while growing a Mercury mustache.
Okay, I'm done with these old videos.
They were all crap.
All of them. But, to be honest, this was fun. I had a good time coming back to these old videos. It's quite the spectacle when you can look back and see how far you've come.
If anybody out there wants to get started on YouTube, use these videos as a learning experience. Remember that you're just starting out, so not everything is going to be perfect from the get-go. Just keep posting whatever content you want to create. This site is called YouTube for a reason. Eventually, you'll find something that makes you unique. Don't emulate someone else on YouTube either. Be yourself. People will soon discover your channel so long as you apply yourself and be the YouTuber you want to be. But most importantly, no matter what content you're creating, always have fun. They say if you work a job you love, you never work a day in your life. Embrace the slow roll out of the gate and take notes as you grow and evolve.
If you're not having fun, then what's the point of making the videos in the first place? One last thing. Don't start YouTube thinking it'll be a full-time career right away, because you will fail. Talk to any of the big names out there and they'll tell you it takes time. And don't force the videos onto anybody. Let them come to you. Anyway, thank you all for watching this wonderful trip down memory lane. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel. And by the way, if anybody ends up making a Monster Truck series that airs every Saturday, I will sue you for copyright infringement.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.